Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. We're taking a break from the Spider-Man cards today because with the update to MtGO that came along with the launch of Omen Pass, because that's what it's called over there, the wonderful people at Daybreak Games managed to add in some more of the cards from the backlog that's been sort of sitting around and doing something. And one of the cards they added was one of the cards I'm very, very fond of. I am talking about Lynde, the Cheerful Tormentor. One blue, black and red for a 2/4 human warlock with death touch, so that's okay. But whenever a curse is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return it to the battlefield attached to you at the beginning of the next end step. And at the beginning of your end step, you may attach at the beginning of your upkeep, so you may attach a curse attached to you to one of your opponents. If you do, draw 2 cards. Now, Lynde has been around in paper for a while. I know this because I've been asked not to play my Lynde deck at my friendly local gaming store because it was just too annoying. And I have been waiting a long time for Lynde to appear on MtGO so I can start playing it on MtGO. And now it's here, I figured it was time to do a deck tech on Lynde. Now, I will say this one is slightly different to my paper-based one because I've managed to update it with a few extra cards I haven't got in my paper collection yet. And since I've been asked not to play unless I'm playing a high-powered game at the club, in which case, yeah, that's fine. I can play Lynde. But the general pickup games, most people at my friendly local gaming store play sort of like 2s and 3s. There are a few more people starting to get 4s and a few CEDH ones coming around where Lynde does kind of work. But for the most part, I've been asked not to play it. But I'm going to go through her today because she's just great in my mind. So here we go. This is the deck to finish off the week with for deck techs anyway. So here we go. Hope you enjoyed this one. Because of Lynde's focus on enchantments, we do have a low creature count today, but they are all kind of relevant to what you do with this deck, which is sitting around about bracket 3 on here because I have cut it down a little bit, but it's still evil. Protean Thaumagogue starts off the game. Become a copy of another target creature except it has this ability, so you can make a copy of the biggest creature on the board every time you play an enchantment, which you have a lot of. Entity Tracker just gives you a little bit of card draw when you cast your curses. Fear of Infinity is just fun. Whenever an enchantment room enters, you may return Fear of Infinity from your graveyard to your hands. You've got a flying 2/2 lifelinker. Yes, it can't block, but people do tend to take it out, and so unless it gets exiled from your graveyard, you're going to keep having this come back to your hand and having that little bit of attacking and padding of your life total. The Grim Guardian's in as well. Enchantments enter, everyone loses one, or your opponents do. And then the Accursed Witch is just fun. 4 mana. Spells that your opponents cast that target the witch cost 1 less, so it makes it a lot easier to kill. But when it dies, return it to the battlefield transformed under your control, attached to target opponent. And becomes the Infectious Curse. Spells you cast at target enchanted player cost 1 less. And at the beginning of the enchanted player's upkeep, that player loses 1 and you gain 1. This is really nice. If you've got someone on the board who you've actually realised is the biggest threat on the board, you can put this on and put a few more curses on for cheap on them, which kind of slows them down a little bit. But yeah, do have to get the witch to die first. From there, the Agent of Eberos appears. Whenever an enchantment enters all battlefield, exile all cards from target player's graveyard, so you can make sure there's someone who's going on the reanimate effect has a bad day. Dashing Bloodsucker comes in as well. This is one of the upgraded ones from Duskmourn. Whenever an enchantment or you enters, you get to give this +2/+0 and gain lifelink until the end of turn. So yeah. Forgeborn Orids is also in as well. Whenever another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, it deals 1 damage to target creature or player. So another way of pinging people around. Bitterheart Witch, when it dies, we go and find a curse, put it on the battlefield attached to the target player, then we get to shuffle our library. So gets around casting costs of some of them, but 5 mana, 1/2, has death touch, so it's okay, but it's just really expensive, but it does work nicely in here. One of the main things we have, those Doomwake Giant enchantments come in, we just start making all our opponent's creatures a lot smaller. Believe me, it's painful. Dreadbringer Lampreys is also in as well. Give target creature Intimidate, so it can't be blocked except by black or artifact creatures, so you do get some damage through with your few creatures we have. Shoal Kraken is also in. Whenever another enchantment enters the battlefield, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card, so a little bit of looting effects if we need them. Fear of sleep paralysis is definitely one of the ones I've added in recently. Stun counters can't be removed from permanents your opponents control. Let enchantments mean they get stun counters and become tapped. Yeah, okay, that's kind of a big game in this deck. And finally, Thought Render Lemia. Whenever it enters your opponent, each opponent discards a card. You can minimize everybody's hand quite easily with this card with the amount of enchantments we will be putting out. Now, we have got Jessica's Will in here to help with that. And then we have a few bits of ball control with Chain Reaction, Damnation, Blasphemous Act, and Instant Wise. We only have Cyclonic Rift. People may disagree with this, but you don't actually need that many counter spells in this deck. You really don't. So bear that in mind. Artifacts, though, are a lot of ramp. And I mean, we start with Tantalite and Talisman for the Suspend. The Elixirs here. Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, one of each of the medallions, one of each of the talismans that have the colours we need. And then a few cards I do want to talk about. Crystal Charms is lovely. If for some reason you start getting milled out or you start having a lot of your curses in the graveyard and you can't return them all with Lynde, 3 mana, tap this, sack it, you get to put all the enchantment cards from your graveyard into your hand. Just try and do it when you've got enough time to do it. I mean, I am very tempted at this stage, and I'll be honest, to drop one of these two for the Thought Vessel. I haven't never needed to do it before in my life, but I am thinking about it because there seems to be a high percentage of mill decks kicking around on MtGO at the moment, so it might be something change I have to make suddenly to the deck. The Skull of Orm is also in. You can just pay 5 mana and tap this, and you get to return a target enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand if you really just need one enchantment. Darkness Crystal cuts the cost of everything down, makes Lynde a little bit cheerful, and kind of basically gives you a little bit of way of getting some creatures from everyone else onto play on your side, so it's not the end of the world. Likewise, the Fire Crystal, you can get some token copies of creatures if you need them, which are really great with some of the creatures we have up here, if we need those token copies, just to make sure that we can sacrifice them off and maybe get their death triggers or get the benefits off them for the turn. Again, a little bit expensive. I think I had the other 2 crystals in one of the decks, the other 3 crystals in the Miles Morales deck earlier this week. So that's what made me think of these 2, and these 2 do seem to work. I haven't played the blue one because the blue one is just mill based, and that's really not what we're doing with this deck. From there we have the enchantments, and as you can see there's a lot of curses. So the Curse of Opulence for the treasures, all the, well, gold tokens. Why they're gold tokens and not treasures, I don't know, but anyway, gold tokens do the same thing. Curse of Faith is here. Enchanted player loses the game. When enchanted player loses the game, you gain X life and draw X cards, where X is the number of spike counters on the Curse of Vengeance. So hopefully they will start putting out the when they cast their spells, you get the spike counters, and then yay, that's cool. Curse of Shaken Faith deals 2 damage to each player when they cast their first. Whenever each enchanted player casts a spell other than the first spell they cast each turn, it shocks them basically. So a little bit more damage. Curse of Stalk Prey just means the creatures that are attacking that player get a little bit bigger, so be warned, they can turn on you at some stage, especially if that's the first player out and there's a whole army of creatures against you. The Curse of the Pierced Heart comes in, deals 1 damage to the cursed player at the beginning of their upkeep. Copy enchantment is a no-brainer. You can copy any of your curses you want to and just pick the one that's going to be the most beneficial, especially if you've got something like the Curse of the Pierced Heart on one player and you need another copy of it somewhere else, you can put it on someone else quite happily. Curse of Disturbance, whenever enchanted player is attacked, create a 2/2 black zombie token, and then it does give zombie tokens to each opponent attacking the player as well, but you know, gives you a few more blockers. Curse of Hospitality is also in. Creatures attacking enchanted player have tramples. That kind of helps out a lot of people, and whenever a creature deals combat damage to enchanted player, that player exiles top card of the library, they can play it. Until the end of turn, that creature's controller may play that card. They may spend mana of any colour to cast it, so that's nice. The Curse of Leeches is a different one. As this permanent transforms into the Curse of Leeches, attach it to a player, and at the beginning of each enchanted player's upkeep, they lose 1 life and gain you gain 1. But it also has Daybound and Nightbound, and the Nightbound version is a 4/4 lifelink. So yeah, another creature sneaking in if no one casts anything, so yay. Curse of Shallow Graves, whenever a player attacks an enchanted player with 1 or more creatures, that attacking player may put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield tapped. Curse of the Bloody Tomb gives you a little bit of milling. Curse of the Night Hunt just means creatures enchanted player controls attack each combat if able. So a little bit careful with this one, just be warned. Estred's Invocation is also here, another way of copying an enchantment, and you can just keep flicking it around every turn if you want to. Fraying Sanity is just another way of milling some players out. Again, nothing great, but that's why I'm not playing the blue crystal, because the mill ability is there. But yeah, Fraying Sanity does help if someone's doing a lot of scrying, so bear that in mind. Maddening Hex, whenever an enchanted player casts a non-creature spell, roll a d6, and the Maddening Hex deals damage equal to that results to that player, and then you may move the Maddening Hex, then attach Maddening Hex to another one of your opponents chosen at random. So it's going to bounce around a lot, so you're going to get some damage in, which is going to upset people. Propaganda keeps us alive a little bit. Rhystic Study gives us the card draw, as we know. Court of Vantress is here mainly because it will become a copy of any other enchantment each turn if we need to, but if we manage to stay as the Monarch, we get token copies, which are even better. The Curse of Oblivion, beginning of enchanted player's upkeep, that player exiles 2 cards from his or her graveyard. There, like I say, I've put this one in. This is one of the changes I have put in from my paper deck because of the propensity of people manipulating their graveyards at the moment online. This is probably one of the weakest curses I've put in, so this can be dropped out and turned into the Thought Vessel if you really need it, if you really want to worry about that. Curse of Wizardry. Choose a colour, especially great if you've got someone who basically goes, let's play a mono deck, and then they can, or you know, if you've got 3, I don't know, white and X players you seem to be against, you choose white and watch them all take a little bit of pinging damage. It doesn't attach to anybody, so this stays in place. It makes it a little bit better. Torment of Scarbs is in. Beginning of enchant players upkeep, they lose 3 life, and they say sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. Bloodletting means any sorcerers would deal double damage to that opponent. Curse of Deathhold just slows down all the token generating people around until they get them pumping. Curse of Echoes, whenever enchanted player casts an instant or sorcery spell, each other player may copy that spell and may choose new targets for the copy. This is quite fun. What I will say is, one thing I have noticed, I've played this deck once so far on MtGO. I had this out and someone played the 3 mana one that basically everyone shuffles their hand back in and draws 7. It did crash MtGO. So yeah, be warned if you're playing this on MtGO. I would be very careful of who I enchant this with, put it that way. Curse of Misfortunes, beginning of your upkeep, you may search your library for a curse card that doesn't have the same name as a curse attached to the player, put that onto the battlefield and shuffle it. And put that onto the battlefield attached to that player, then shuffle your library. So yay, okay. Curse of Surveillance comes in, beginning of enchant player's upkeep, that target player, any number of target players other than that player, each draw cards equal number of curses attached to that player, so a little bit of card draw that helps everybody out. Curse of Thirst, whenever it upkeep deals damage to that player equal to the number of curses attached to him or her. Oh, to them it should be now, I'd imagine. Curse of Fool's Wisdom, whenever enchanted player draws a card, they lose 2 life, we gain 2 life. We can madness this one out, which makes it a little bit easier to play if we get some discarding. And then one of the big ones I did put into my deck, Storm of Saruman. You can quite happily cast a couple of spells each turn with this deck, and the second one, once you get there, getting a copy of the curses, just lovely, just lovely. From there, there's 36 lands in the deck. All of the blue, black, and red lands you can think of would be here. I have realised I'm going through this. There should be 1 less swamp in the deck, and that should be Reliquary Tower just to help us out. So that will be changed. You've seen me playing online, but I'll leave the deck list as it is for now. And that's it. That is my personal take on Lynde Cheerful Tormentor for the last one of the deck tech videos this week. Hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know if you think there's anything else I should be improving it by let me know in the comments down below. I suspect there's some of the Duskmourn cards I've missed out that should be in the deck, so I'd be interested if there's any things you think should be included. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button. If you haven't used all your cheers up all week, I'd really be happy if you could use the cheer up if you're watching this on mobile. That would be really help me out and grow the channel a little bit more. And yeah, that's it for deck techs, but there may be something bonusy tomorrow. So for now, take care, have a good one, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you. Bye.